All right, that was exciting, guys. Wasn't that so cool? I love Katie so much. Okay, next up, because we're moving. We're gonna make these, and we're gonna do 5 minutes because I know we have a lot of awesome people here that want to say hi. We're connecting to my next part. Hi!
Azie!
Yael! The Supergirl, Jane the Virgin crossover is happening right now.
Amazing. I hope we keep doing this forever. We just keep being on the same shows over and over again forever.
Well, I actively want, because I didn't really know what was happening before I came on. And then we shot a scene at the end of the season where Alex has like this dream sequence and she's throwing this like bad character into a cell. And then I found out later, because the stunt double had a blonde wig, that it was supposed to be your character. And I was
no kidding!
Guys,
we couldn't have been there at the same time.
I'm gonna make it happen. It's like meant to be. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. How's the baby?
She's good.
He's good. How's the kitty?
She's good. She's hiding in a paper bag right now. I gave her a paper bag yesterday, so she's so happy.
I love that that's a cat toy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I had a delivery box, and I tried to give her the box, and then I saw it had bugs in it. So I was like, I promised her this box. She's going to be upset, so I gave her a paper bag, and she's okay.
I love that you're like, I promised my cat this thing, and she's going to be
she wants to do it. You've seen her. You know.
She's very smart.
Oh, yeah.
Smart. How's quarantine?
Interesting. It's like a social experiment, isn't it? It's really interesting. There's ups and downs are extreme. Now I'm so used to it that I feel like when everything, goes back to normal, I don't know how to leave the house anymore. I'm like, this is going to be weird.
But you have that like Israeli work ethic. Like
I can't wait to go back to work. I just mean like going back into crowded places. I'm like,
oh yeah. I was ready for you to go back to work a day after giving birth. I was like, if anyone's going to do it, it's Yael.
I was down for that. I mean, not a day after, but like 5 weeks after giving birth, I actually tested for something.
Oh my gosh! So you did pilot? You did a little bit of pilot season.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. I was like, I'm good.
How are you missing Jane?
Oh, so much. Yeah. I mean, it's like everything. It was bittersweet. Are you missing Jane?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I miss you. You guys are my family.
Same. Well, where are you now?
I am in Sedona. I just came out to Arizona yesterday to like try to get some R&R. I was in LA. I'll be here for a couple weeks and I'll go back. But I was gonna say, we were so lucky to. I love Supergirl, but it's a different transition being in Vancouver, as you know, because you shot there for the episodes.
Yeah.
We were so lucky to be in Manhattan Beach Studios.
Wow, incredible.
I know.
And I don't think I knew how lucky we were until I spoke to other friends and was like, wait, you're filming in LA? Like 1% of things actually film in Los Angeles. Everything films all over the world, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, other things I had tested for were like Albuquerque. And like, I hear it's wonderful, but it's not, home for me, which LA is home for me now. So,
yeah.
Yeah,
it's really home for you. It's so weird because I don't know if a lot of people know that you moved for the show. You were like brand new.
Oh yeah. I was still living in Israel when we shot the pilot. I moved only after the pilot got picked up, and I had like 2 weeks to pack up my stuff and just go.
I remember. And you had that like classic Mercedes car, remember that like old school car?
Oh, really old, yeah.
I'm going to call it classic.
I know, everybody was I had a name for it. Yeah, let's call it classic. Let's not call it like dingy.
Because we didn't know. We had no idea.
So what if it was like 25 years old?
Yeah. We had no idea what if it was going to do well, what was going to happen, and we all thought we were going to die every day. So
yeah, and people in the cast and everyone was like, "Don't you think you should really upgrade your car?" And I'm like, "I trust nothing." I had it to like season 3. They're like, "Yeah, you're on a successful TV show." I was like, "My car."
Yeah, and you were like,
eventually I had to trade it in because parts of the door were falling off.
I remember, and you were in the same home the whole time. You were not risking it. So I saw.
No, I actually donated it eventually.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I saw some stuff. Some of your scenes on Supergirl. Your outfit was hot.
Oh, you have no idea how much I wanted to keep that jacket.
It was so good. The leather.
I loved it. Again, I don't know if it would have survived in Los Angeles. It was perfect for like Vancouver. it wasn't winter. What was it? It was that hot. I don't remember what time of year it was, but here it would have been a little sweaty, a little sticky.
That scene when you were like walking down the street and like being a badass. And,
oh my God.
So different.
That stuff we never got to do on Jane. Like,
you always had high heels on, so I mean,
right. Very little, explosives.
And although it's so silly and dorky, and like you're like the silliest. So I was like, whoa, I've never seen this side of Yael. That is so cool.
It was really fun to be. Also, I did it at the same time. I like over hiatus. I flew to Vancouver, did a couple of episodes of Supergirl, or an episode of Supergirl, and then another one like a year later, and back to LA for Jane. So being able to do both at the same time was amazing.
I'm petitioning to get you and I to do with our Supergirl characters. I think because we didn't work that much together on Jane either.
No, we kept waiting to work together, and we barely did.
There was like a minute where I thought you were sitting
right.
And then you weren't. You were. Then all of a sudden you were like a comedic genius, and they just transferred you out.
I was like, wait, why is my character? You know what's funny? You know that Petra wasn't supposed to be funny at all.
I remember the table read. I remember Jenny's face one day at the table read where you were really funny. It was like, I don't even think it was written to be funny. And you were
really?
Yes. And I remember her looking at you like, oh, wow.
Well, the funny thing is, like, once I was cast, she was, like, not funny, supposed to be, and very, like, sexual, right? But then once I was cast, pretty quickly, she became really funny and, like, not very sexual.
She was hot. Wardrobes. You always had, like, these, like, fabulous little shorts and these high heels, and your hair was, like, you were still hot.
Oh, well, thanks.
You are.
Not me. That was silent.
I see online all the time, I think, like, Jane and Supergirl fans always ask kind of how we became friends. And I don't know if you remember, but I remember this clearly. I got really sick early on. I had, like, some sort of cold, and you made me that, like, pot of vegetarian soup, because Yael and I have the same kind of dietary restrictions. We're pescatarian. You still are, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, like, the most delicious soup I'd ever had with the Israeli...
with the soup nuts.
What are the soup nuts?
But I call them soup nuts. They're called like soup almonds here or something. It's the shkede marak. Every Israeli will eat soup with it. I mean, it's mandatory.
And then I felt better. And then you continued, Passovers, and you continued to cook for me. And I was like, okay, she's my girl for life.
Well, I remember the first time we went out together, we went to have sushi, I think.
Or yes, I totally.
And do you remember we saw
Tony Goodman?
Yes, yes. We were so excited.
Scandal, and Jane hadn't premiered yet, and we were like, okay, if we like go up to him, and we're like, we're actresses, and we're on a show that nobody knows about, and then we just awkwardly stared at him while eating his meal.
Yeah, which is why when fans like stare at us, I know exactly like what you're.
We all know how smooth you were at the Golden Globe parties and at the Golden Globes. That's fine.
Yeah, Smooth. That's my middle name. I'm like, Benedict Cumberbatch! Holy shit!
To be fair, Benedict Cumberbatch was like, if I ever meet him, guys, I'm going to freak out. And then he's like there.
Yes, and I didn't have the guts to go up to him. Justin went up to him for me.
I've had an experience like that with Justin, too, where there was somebody I really looked up to. It was like a therapist, essentially, in New York. And Justin went and talked to her, and I didn't because I was nervous. He's really good at like putting him.
I had that with Oprah.
Where?
We went to a luncheon.
Oh,
it was like right as we started season 1 of Jane the Virgin. This was like the first like event thing that we went to, and I didn't know what it was, but apparently it's this really fancy like luncheon that's very exclusive, and it was packed full of.
Wait, was this before we saw each other at that like gifting weird thing, and you were?
Yes,
I remember you were really overwhelmed.
Yes, so it was packed full of like all my favorite people. I could not believe it. It was a pretty small room, and like Oprah was there.
I can't.
And
I
like Brad Pitt and Angelina, and I was just walking around going, "What the hell is happening?" It was like an AFI luncheon.
Yeah,
it was the best thing that's ever happened. I was in complete shock because I went from like living in Israel, not expecting anything to, you know, ever happen here, to like a few months later, this was happening. And then there was the Golden Globes. It was insane. Anyway.
That's why I think the Jane cast is so bonded, because it was like a year of that first season was like a lot of what's
shock.
Happening right now.
We were just all in shock. And I think we all knew how lucky we were, right? Do you remember that? Like because we had all been unemployed at some point. We were like a cast of people who knew what it felt like to not be working and knew how lucky we were to just be on that show.
And constantly reminded one another. And everyone, it was just so great. It was so great. All right, well, I'm going to let you go because you have a baby.
Okay. I do. You might have heard her in the background.
I'm so glad that you came on. I love you so much. I will call you later.
Thanks for having me.
Bye, love.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
I love Yael so much. All right, guys. Next up, I'm going to move through these fast. I know. I'm so sorry for everyone that's waiting.